And now your hosts of In Your City Show, Kelley and Gordon.
Welcome to In Your City Show. It is our big SAVOR show. Our food issues are out. We've got Chesterfield, St. Charles, and Clayton City Lifestyle magazines. They are delivered each month to 40,000 homes and over 3,000 businesses. And with our October foodie issue, it's where we celebrate the exquisite journey of taste and the warm embrace of autumn. Together, let us savor every delectable moment this season has to offer. So we got a fun show ahead of us.
We do. What do you have in your hand?
Well, what am I wearing?
What are you wearing? What do you have in your hand?
I'm
What have you been talking about for the last 2 months? And who has taken over our world?
Awesome is what it is. Who has taken over the world is Olive. So Olive is our English bulldog, and she's absolutely been such an inspiration. And you know, it was funny because Olive had her first interview on radio. So we were invited over to a local radio station, and of course you're my new manager.
Yeah, the manager of the dog.
A manager of the dog. And of course, everybody falls in love with her. And it was fun getting, to be on there. And it's where I kind of really realized and got to tell my story. You know, people ask, why did you write the book? And it's like, it was really the first time someone just kind of asked me, where this came from. And, a lot of times it's, like I said, it just came out. Pain brings upon inspiration a lot of times. A lot of times people excel at something or decide to do something in life because of maybe a painful upbringing or a painful situation. And honestly, that's, having Olive in our life has brought so much joy and inspiration. And then when my mom, of course, on her passing was such a painful time, I dove into a project to help, get through that. And that's really, what inspired this to happen. And, as you know, everything just organically, just incredibly, so inspirationally fell into place. Like, you know what I mean? Like finding Isabel, the illustrator, and just everything meticulously fell into place.
Almost if your mom had a little piece of it and was actually orchestrating
helping put it, because it's amazing everybody that met. And the launch party just happened, which was so exciting. That happened September 28th in Newtown, where the story takes place. And seeing all the families and the kids come in and friends, and watching the kids' faces meet Olive, seeing the joy that she brought to them. And then when I went to the school the other day to read to the kids, and just they're so mesmerized by her and by the book. And of course,
and what about her being mesmerized by the kids? I mean, she just jumps right in the middle of the kids and sits there and takes it all in, and just like, this is about me. I'm supposed to be here.
And we all have fears. We have fears, and the thing that it elevated so much with me with Olive is that she has fear, but she isn't afraid of it. She goes after her fears. And when that thunderstorm hit that time, and she went after the thunderstorm, she was afraid. It made her jump, it made her whine, but she went after the storm. She didn't hide from her fears, like we do. We kind of hide them under something or put them away.
Which is the title of the book.
Yeah, so Oh Olive, Oh No, a Thunderstorm is now out, and it's when people are buying them, and then you see their pictures that they're loading up of their kids reading it. Last night I got a video of a grandma, and she said her little boy, she'd only read it to him once. He looked like maybe 13, 14 months.
Yeah.
Very young, starting to talk barely.
Under 2.
And she opened the book, and the first thing he said was, boom, bam, and this cute little voice, and it was like precious to see that the love. And another mother wrote and said that she tries to read books. She's a teacher, and she reads books to her son, and he's always about 2 pages in, he's done, and he's walking away or whatever from it. And she said that he says to her, Mommy, more pages, more pages. He wants her to read it again and again. So yeah, it's a really cool journey to be on right now. And we have Oh Olive replicas, which I wish we had those pictures. It just literally came in today. The final replica of Olive is finished, and she has actual marks in her fur, like a big heart on the left side, and a little one on her ear, and little ones on her heart. And when she sits, actually the back of her little buns there is a heart shape. So she has these hearts just already in her fur. So they have olive eyes on her which hence her name Olive. She has olive colored eyes. But yeah, I'm going on and on because I'm just so touched by it all.
And for the first time, something that I really realized, I mean, I've listened to you talk about this book and I talk about the inspiration and the pain that you had with your mom. But, you know, even though Olive faces her fears, you could have chosen to take that pain and just hid in a corner, or, I mean, it was tough for you for the first couple of weeks, you know.
Stuff every day.
But you took it on. You took on that pain and that pain, and you used that pain to create something. And so basically, you and Olive kind of share the same story.
Yeah. Oh, high five. That's kind of cool. So you can go to oholivethebulldog.com and check out the book for yourself. Got a lot of possum retail that's coming up, and the coolest thing about it is Olive gives back. So the portion of the proceeds from all of Olive are going to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. And the story about that, you know, we tried to figure out what charity we were going to choose for Olive to be able to give back. And when I found out that 40 years ago this year, Make-A-Wish is celebrating their first wish here in St. Louis was a little 2-year-old boy who wanted a puppy.
A puppy.
So how perfect could that be? Yeah, so perfect. Super cool. So we love it. We got some great guests that are going to be with us today talking about things. And of course, they will go home with a In Your City shirt because they have become an official hot list guest.
Yes.
We had our big event up here. We're actually filming in the View 17 studios while the new studios are getting recreated, which are they were already awesome. So I can't imagine what it's going to be
to see the finished
when they finish. But yeah, and we had everybody up here and people that have been on the show. And of course, when you are an advertiser in a magazine, you are also a hot lister as well, being on there. So today, gosh, we have Cameron. Let's see, Cameron is Schoeffel. Make sure I said that right. Schoeffel. He is the sales director there at Union Station. We're going to be talking about the Polar Express.
Yeah,
that is so much fun. We've done that before. The grandkids have been there a few times. Ryan Mustone with Nutrition Stop, and then JoAnn Houle, who is on the cover of our Chesterfield and Clayton. Well, she's not actually on the cover.
Her
artwork is going to be joining us talking about that. I love when we get to talk to artists, and that creativity that's behind them is so absolutely cool.
And where they get it from, the inspiration and all of that. Yeah,
so we appreciate everybody here at the Outreach Studios behind the scenes, and Casey Pierce as well. And I think we need to get going and meet our guest after I show my coat. How cool is this? So
I should have worn mine today.
That's my name in case I forget it. And then it has our City Lifestyle logo and our In Your City, and then my crazy pants that are like going wild on the camera.
I know, it's making the TV go crazy right now.
But Bespoke Apparel designed the jacket.
David Corbett, right down there off of Maryland.
Pretty amazing guy.
Absolutely.
All right, well, we are going to be back with some hot list guests and have some fun here on In Your City Show. Ready?
Yep.
Let's do it. Welcome back to In Your City Show. We've got our first hot list guest with us right now, coming all the way from the Polar Express. That's Cameron Schoeffel, and he's here representing the Union Station, which he's been there for like 10 years as the sales director.
Yep.
Wow. And that's what I said. I'm like, I so know you. And I'm sure it's all the amazing events and things that, you know, we've been there for. And this Polar Express, I mean, it's such an experience, and we have been lucky enough to be on the Polar Express a few times.
Yes.
And then not only that, our grandkids as well. And it's just been an incredible experience every time. Tell us a little bit about, well, first, you're at the Union Station. Mm-hmm. Tell us a little bit about the Union Station and why they do things like the Polar Express and what it means.
Well, it's, you know, Union Station has transformed into a family attraction destination, right? Our goal is to bring families together to create those memorable experiences and family traditions, and you know, we take great pride and joy in being that venue for St. Louis, and things like the Polar Express definitely lend themselves to that. And, you know, experiencing the holidays, getting that chance to ride the Polar Express train ride, go to the North Pole, and you know, create those core memories for not only kiddos but for parents and grandparents, I think is so important, and such a big part of who we are. So it's very important. We like I said, we take great pride and joy in being able to do that, and it's been a lot of fun. We've
Oh my
seen
gosh,
a complete transformation of the property over the years, and what we have today is quite remarkable.
What a great job you're doing over there.
I love it. I love the Polar Express. I know the first time that we went.
I was kind of hoping Santa was going to come with them, but I guess it's too early.
I know.
He's getting
But
ready.
you get there and there's that giant, the welcoming area when you come in, and then the gifts, and then just the decorations. It literally looks like and feels like, like it's part of a movie set almost.
Yeah.
It feels so amazing. And looks so
That's
amazing.
the idea, and just like I said, recreating the storyline of the Polar Express, and I think a lot of folks look at the Polar Express as a family tradition, whether it's you watch it on Christmas morning, or the kiddos get all dressed up in their PJs and kind of
The adults get dressed up in their PJs
that too. Yeah, absolutely.
I think
That's a
it's
big part of
This
it.
is great, Dad.
Yeah.
Especially dads.
Matching
Dads are like, I don't have to get dressed up for this. This is awesome. I can
Yes,
come in my
yeah.
jammies.
That's always
It's
my
even
favorite.
better.
Yeah, is watching
Unless you
the
don't have
dads.
jammies, then it's kind of scary what they might come in. Jammies don't always mean the same
That's
for
right.
everyone.
That's
Okay.
right.
Gotta be
But,
careful.
Yeah.
The matching
It's the kids'
onesies
show,
go a
Kel.
long way with the family. So, but it's great. It brings a lot of joy to the people here in St. Louis and the surrounding area. I mean, we've grown Polar Express. This will be our 9th year. When we started, we were
Wow.
doing 10, 15,000 riders. Last year, we surpassed even our own imaginations with that, and welcomed 75,000 people to the Polar
Oh my
Express.
gosh, that's
mackerel.
incredible.
So does that mean that you've added, through the years of doing this, have you had to add more times, more hours, longer duration of how?
Absolutely, yeah. Our capacity has grown every year. We've added new train cars. We've added new event footprints to where we've expanded those over the years. And as the transition, from the old mall space at Union Station that a lot of people remember, to the attraction destination between the aquarium and the wheel and everything you see there today, we've kind of had to move around a little bit, our Polar footprint, but the setup we have now is amazing. It takes a full team effort. Everyone on property lends a hand in creating that memorable experience. And through that, we've also expanded the holiday footprint around property. So between Pancakes with Santa in Grand Hall, the train shed transforms into the sleigh shed during the holidays, a really cool pop-up bar experience. Santa Claus even dives with our divers at the aquarium.
Really?
And so there's so many unique holiday experiences around property that St. Louis Union Station has really become a landmark holiday location here, really in the region.
So let's take the families on an experience. I know our grandboys came; they were dressed in their conductor jammies.
Conductor hats.
So you walk in. Tell us a little bit about what a family can experience. And I know, Gordon, you had said earlier, like, people ask the questions. How long? When should they book?
When
when
should
do
they
need
get tickets? Yeah.
Yeah. So give us a little bit. Take us on a journey of going on the Polar Express, and then making sure that parents and people know how and when to get those tickets.
Absolutely, yeah. So Polar Express tickets have actually been on sale since early August. So believe it or not, we've already sold well over 30,000 tickets thus far in the season.
Gosh,
so
that's fabulous.
Definitely creating that urgency for people who do want to ride this season to book early, because come November, December, tickets will become scarce, to say the least. That's been years and years in the making, and just creating that demand that we do have down at Union Station. It's just kind of blown up, and we really push people to get those tickets early and make those holiday plans as soon as possible.
And where do they go to get those tickets?
They can visit the website, stlpolarexpressride.com. You could just Google Polar Express or Union Station, and you can find it pretty easily. But our website is very user friendly. We also have a call center of people that are ready to field any questions and assist people with that booking. For people who are looking for a bit of a staycation, we offer room packages. So,
I was just going to ask about that. That would be fun.
So we have decorated suites where people can come in, stay the night, really get that magical experience.
And we're all looking for that.
Yes.
Even when you're older as an adult, you're looking for that magical,
That hallmark magic.
yeah, that feeling of, the holidays.
Yeah, and it's funny you say that because people are always say to me, well, like my kids are kind of older and they're not, as into it as they used to be. The number of adult groups, grandparent groups that we have coming out to ride the Polar Express without young kids.
And the hot cocoa's delicious.
Yeah, I mean,
And
who
the
doesn't
cool
love
cup
hot
that it's
chocolate and
in as
cookies?
well.
Right. So, it's really for everyone, and we truly believe that. So
And you actually go for a ride on the train.
yeah.
Yeah.
And you're not just walking
Go to
the
the
train,
North
you're
Pole.
actually
That's right.
actually
right.
going to the North Pole.
Yeah, it's
I
so
love it.
unique and something that I think whether you're a train buff or just someone who loves the holidays and loves the celebration of what the holidays mean, it's so
And let's talk
important.
about the characters on the train,
Yeah.
because they really come to life. They get down. I mean, I've seen they get down on the floor with the kids and intermingle and just really create this relationship with the
Yeah.
people on the train, and it's really cool to see.
It is, and believe it or not, they get as much joy out of it as all of our riders do. They thoroughly enjoy the happiness that they're able to kind of bring to these families, and it really does go a long way. I think they are the biggest part of creating those memories on board the
Yeah.
Polar Express, and they come out energized every single year, and we love seeing that. So
I love how you talk about the adults, because it is so funny. The adults get into it. And isn't it funny? Because you talked about there's a certain age group, they kind of go, oh, okay, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
But actually, when they become adults, then they revert back to going,
Yes.
this is what we did when we were kids, and you've got to do it too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, myself, I grew up here in St. Louis. There wasn't this opportunity to do this unique holiday experience.
Right.
And, I think it's so cool.
It is
as
so
a father
cool.
myself, my daughters love it.
Can't wait.
Just
Probably
cannot
got
wait.
pretty good seating.
Well,
You know somebody,
we
don't
start
you?
watching the
Get to-
Polar Express in July every
In
year.
July.
So,
Yeah, exactly.
that's just kind of how it goes.
Oh,
But
well, we appreciate you coming here talking about the Polar Express. We're looking forward to it ourselves. It begins when?
November 17th is our first public date.
Okay, and
we'll
they have
run
up until run through when?
December 30th.
December 30th. So even after the holiday, you're still moving the
Yep.
Polar Express before Santa goes home.
It's a very popular time for sure.
Well, one more question before we end our segment. Cameron Schoeffel with the Union Station. So you're from St. Louis. What is your favorite dining experience? Where did you love to eat growing up as a kid?
Ooh, that's a good
Doesn't even have to
question.
be
As
here
a kid,
anymore.
yes.
As a kid, I think we spent 10 years of birthdays going to Hacienda.
Really? And they're still
they're still
hopping,
around.
so-
It was like my favorite thing in the world, and still is
Yeah.
to this day. It's a great place to take the kiddos, and they always do such a great job. It's such a welcoming experience. So love Hacienda.
Oh, that's fantastic. And margaritas and chips and salsa and all those
Can't
fun
beat
things
that,
to go
right?
with it. Cameron, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
taking some time
Yes.
to indulge with us with the Polar Express. We appreciate it. All right.
I'm already feeling the holiday spirit.
Yeah, Cameron Schoeffel, our hot list guest from Union Station. All right, you are here with the In Your City show, and we're coming back with another hot list guest. Welcome back to In Your City show. We've got a great hot list guest with us right now, and they were talking about all these great things. Like, okay, let's get going here and hear about this stuff.
Talk about it now.
On camera, right? So, welcome to the show, Ryan Mustone. Mustone? Let's say it your way.
Mustone.
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 I'm like
Mustone.
You got to do it like Mustone. You know
Yeah.
what I'm
That's
saying?
it. That's it.
I'm like,
You got
Ryan
it.
Mustone. He's like, Mustone. I'm
That's it.
Italian.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's so nice to meet you here
you
on the
too.
show and talk about your store nutrition stop.
Mm-hmm.
But it was kind of cool. You guys were talking beforehand, and really shows. First of all, Gordon's like, cool pants, and you're like, yeah, I just got back from Hawaii, and I got those while I was there, and you really live the life behind your business, the nutrition stop.
Mm-hmm.
You started talking about, which I'm so fascinated with this and can't wait to hear about it. But Gordon asked you about your pants, and you're like, I just got back from Hawaii, and you were doing some farming there. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience and what it brings to your stores.
Well, I have done some farming in Hawaii, and this recent trip I did do a few volunteer days, but we were talking about 10 years ago, I did spend some time there doing volunteer work, bouncing around on different organic farms. This time was leisure. I have a friend there, so I played a little bit and had some fun, and I did do bounce around on farms and learned a lot about taro this time, which they call kala.
Which is what?
It's a root. It's
Okay.
It's a root, sort of like a potato, sort of like a yam, but not at all. It's its own thing, but it's very nourishing and has different compounds. That have longevity qualities, antioxidants, and it's a really good starch and fiber and such. So it's a staple in Hawaiian culture.
How hard is it to go out to eat or to go into other stores when you have the knowledge that you have of health food and organic and micro-crafted superfoods and all these things?
It's too much sometimes. It's too much to really have some of the information I have in my head,
Yeah.
especially, I don't know, I'm like really dialed into the omega-3 and 6 conversation because we're all collectively getting bombarded with omega-6s from all the different nuts and seed oils, and that really our body just uses those to promote inflammation virtually everywhere. It's just a signaling process that those fats.
Wait a minute.
I
Wait
need
a
to
minute.
double, triple up, and quadruple up on that. Anything
Yeah.
that's inflammatory, anti-inflammatory.
Wait a minute. I want to make sure I heard you correctly. You're very dialed in right now to omega-3s and
Well,
6s.
it's been something I've been trained on. I've been in this industry for a while, so I've just seen a lot of the science showing what happens when we have elevated amounts of omega-3s in the body.
That's what I heard him say, and then when your comment back, it wasn't. I needed to clarify and make sure because you're saying we're doing too much of it with all of the
We're
seeds
getting
and that.
a lot of the nuts, grains, and seeds are just really dominant omega-6. It's not a bad fat. It's just the ratios are really far out of whack, and our bodies use those fats to produce inflammation. That's just one of the
That's what I
primary
heard,
things
and
that
that's what really got me because we're being told all the time, eat more of this, eat more of this because it promotes health, and you need the fat, but too much can promote inflammation.
It's just getting, like good flaxseed, chia seeds, fish oil, algae, all these different. Those are all rich in omega-3s, so it's just going to help counteract the omega-6s that we are getting, and the importance of, within the conversation of beef and cattle and chicken and such, making sure they're pasture raised and they're eating grass and fully eating a grass-rich diet because they're going to be more rich in omega-3s because if they feed them the nuts and grains that they feed a lot of the conventional, especially beef, then it's going to be even more omega-6 in them.
So at your store, you brought some really great items to talk about. This is fascinating right here looking at this.
I thought it was a table piece.
and you're
really
catching,
is.
so cool.
It is at our home sometimes.
And you're catching my attention with things you're saying. Do you actually have, at your store, the opportunity for education?
We do. We actually, this coming Tuesday, we're going to have an education piece. One of the companies is coming by and teaching a lecture on heart health and different ways to mitigate blood sugar and A1C
I do need
levels.
to be there.
That'll be this coming Tuesday, and then we have a few other things lined up.
So do we go on to the Nutrition Stop website to be able to see special events or educators that you have in there to help?
Yeah, nutritionstop.com. There's an events tab. I think that's what it is, the events tab, and it should have a calendar on there. And then Facebook also, there's usually an event created on there because it's easy to use and user friendly.
Very cool.
And
so,
it's in your city.
of course,
in your
it's
city magazine
in
with
our
a QR code that takes you right to the events page.
Yeah.
So we're looking at these things. Tell us a little bit of a reason why you picked those. Can we start with this because that one I can't quit staring at it. What the heck? It looks like a flower arrangement of tulips.
It's mushrooms.
Those are some pretty mushrooms.
They're gray oyster mushrooms. We work
Is there a
with.
smell?
They probably smell like dirt or earth.
Earth.
That's what I always say.
Yeah, they're really flavorful. Dice them up, a little bit of garlic and butter. They're really outstanding flavor. Really good culinary use. Really good flavor.
Did you grow that? Are those in your store like pods like that, or how are we purchasing them?
We purchase them from a farm nearby us. The gentleman's farm. His name is the company is called Mushrooms Naturally. He has a whole warehouse. He does it from the whole start, out of the back end of the warehouse of making mushrooms.
And then we can get this at your store like this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we can get this whole kit if we wanted to, but we usually get, we cut these up into 4-ounce little options, and you can just buy packaged 4-ounce bits of it. I just brought this because it's so pretty to cool and
It
see
is cool
how it
looking.
grows and such.
And,
and
this
how
looks,
close we are to the connection, you know.
yeah,
the
and
chain
this
of it.
looks different than the regular mushroom you'd see at the grocery store, you know, the little round brown
like
capped
little,
or something.
little
or,
Bella mushrooms.
yeah,
little bud
very different.
mushrooms.
What is the difference of that kind of and the other? Is there? I mean, obviously there is, but I mean.
I think they're all going to have a little bit of vitamin D in them, and then each mushroom is probably going to have a different amount of beta-glucans in them. That's the immune-enhancing properties, and then that's going to vary depending on the mushroom. So like maitake, shiitake, those are going to have the highest amounts of the beta-glucans, which are a little bit more immune-enhancing.
Never have I walked down the aisle and went, I need this, I'm going to get my beta-glucans.
Yeah, beta-glucans. It's you know, it's
They have that much knowledge.
It's a dialed-in term, but it's becoming more, you know, more common these days.
You sprayed yourself with that bottle there. What's that?
That's something I'm pretty passionate about, really. These are what they call hydrosols.
Okay.
It's the co-distillate from when you make essential oils out of a hydro distillation. Use a big copper chamber, a big copper still. You line that copper still with plant matter, light a fire under it and water, and then it steams and captures rose geranium, for instance. That's what this one is. And the steam goes up and captures all the volatile essences and aromatic properties of the plant. So it goes up, steam goes through a cooling rack and turns back into water. And as it cools, out of that process comes these waters they call hydrosols. And over time, the essential oils will collect on the top.
And what does it do for you?
It's hydrating on the
smells
skin
good.
is really what
Okay,
it is.
I'm gonna zap
It
him.
smells really good.
Is he going to turn
Is that
into
me?
another person?
Maybe.
Look at
It's
him squint
100
his eyes like a little.
No, but it smells
He's
great.
like this. He was talking, just spraying himself, and Gordon's like all
Oh,
battened
it's really
down.
nice. Well,
That
there's-
smells
That's what I do.
wonderful.
That's what
We're gonna
I
have
do.
to get that.
Yeah, it works really well. It's good at just putting more moisture in the skin. The skin is
Yeah.
60 to 70% water, so directly
See how he does
putting
that?
moisture
He's a
into the
champ
skin.
at it.
But ideally, what I've done for years is use these oils and waters together, and they mix. Oil and water do mix from the heat in our hands, and then you would massage that into the face, and it's literally feeding the skin moisture. You don't have to use any lotions in there. There's not any preservatives. There's not any waxes.
Face just got radiant.
And that's why
It does
he's
that.
so radiant.
Yeah.
So it's reestablishing the protective barrier called the acid mantle. You should try some, Gordon. You want
Yes.
to try a little bit?
All right, let's
I
do
would-
I think
it.
you
I
really like it.
I
It is a
I'll
roast
just do a little,
would
just a
give
little
just a little bit.
All right.
But it is the magic of mixing them. So the skin secretes, go ahead and mix them together and then press it in. The skin secretes sweat and sebum, or water and oil. Now get it really, like press it in there, press it in there.
Don't.
All right.
It'll be good.
Oh, there you go.
But it's
Look, make your head
making
all
and
shiny.
replacing this acid mantle, which is the
Look,
skin's
you look
immune
10 years
system.
younger.
Wow. I feel 10 years
Skin's
younger.
flushing, and it looks really
Yeah, look at
jumping
the color
jacks.
that you have right now. That's great.
really. No, really. Like
No, it really does.
It brings fly. Like
seriously.
it immediately brings
Look
more
like you were out in the
circulation
sun
to the
just now or
skin.
whatever. Yeah.
And this barrier allows the pores to open, so your skin's having an exchange with the environment right now, and it's adapting to the environment. So
The way he talks, it's so educational
what?
and informational. It's like,
Ladies and gentlemen, right now, you can just tell this is the man you need to go see
Yeah.
for all your nutrition needs. I'm just telling you. I mean,
Yeah.
I learn something every day. I go
yeah,
into
when
the
he
store.
came home from the
I learn
store
something
and
all the time.
he was talking about the product and what it did and everything was fabulous. And you even have beef in there, and that was amazing. We had
The
we had
seafood,
tried
by the way, that we got was amazing.
Isn't
Yeah.
that great seafood?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really like, it's a kind of an unbeknownst, just this little brand there. But yeah, there's quality is really, like, if you're on the coast, it's really, really
It's also not
unmatched.
intimidating when you go in your store. It's very
That's good to hear.
personal. Yeah, no, you can go into places and it's just you're overwhelmed with just, it's just too much. And you go in there and you just really have a great selection of everything needed to keep a healthy, nutritional, home. And so
let's
it's,
back up a little bit too, because before you own, so how long have you owned Nutrition Steps?
Right at just 2 weeks and, or I'm sorry, 2 years and like 2
I was like,
weeks.
2 weeks.
Right,
2
so,
years
and
and
it's
2
been around since,
1986.
but what did you do before that?
I was in outside sales and education, so I sold all of this kind of stuff into
So you
health food
already had the
stores.
knowledge.
And
You have the knowledge,
Mhm.
which
And
is
then
so important. I want people to know that because you have such a great knowledge of all the products
yeah,
and what they
thank
do.
you.
Yeah.
And I did work at the store for 3 years and years ago before all that happened
Yeah.
too. So yeah, I got a good base.
And this is just a very, very small selection that's on the table of some of your favorites. Just being able to show the the types of items that you have, but you have I should say a great deal more. Of course, we can't see your frozen
So what do we have
foods
here?
and
Because it
things
looks like
that.
an Easter basket ready to.
Well, I think we can see what's on there. Is there a favorite?
And you were
time to go
talking
through
about
each
this
one.
before we came on the show.
The Cadia brand, let's talk about pasta and pasta sauce. But
I'm a pasta guy.
It's good. It's
I'm
really,
with
really
Mustone.
good.
I guess you are too.
Yeah, I am, and we have a
Is it
lot
the
of
mafia?
pasta. We have a lot of pasta and pasta sauce in our store. But this brand Cadia works with little mom and pop shops like us, and we've got this little program going on with them and our distributor that it's allowed us to have really affordable staples that are organic. So things like this, we should have some of the best prices in town on organic staples. So if you come to our store, look for the Cadia brand. It's our everyday, just low value commodity brand that's organic.
Sure.
And really,
You made a statement
user-friendly.
once that if you can't pronounce it, it's probably not good for you.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about that.
I guess there's some variations within that. Sometimes they are vitamins and minerals that might be those. But there's oftentimes, especially if you look to foods that are very, very colorful, and they're really synthetic.
And those that big
There's
ingredient
just
line,
big ingredient lines in there. It's not food, and there's numbers behind it, and I don't know.
Anytime it says acid, I'm like, okay, that's probably not good for me. Citric acid or whatever, just anytime
That's
it
all
says.
the fillers and that
Yeah.
go into the products, and that's what you pride yourself on, is obviously nutritional items. Well, we appreciate everything that you've brought in today to show us. We know that by coming into the nutrition stop, we're going to be able to be educated and knowledgeable on what's right for our body, and everyone's different as well depending on their needs. But the best, and they say what, stay to the outside, but you have the nutritional forces of those in the middle.
Yeah, and we're just trying to dial in really good sourcing. We don't have a lot of everything, but what we have is just trying to find the best what we can within that category.
Now, are you from St. Louis?
I grew
Okay,
up out in
great.
St. Charles, St. Peter's
So
area.
before we end our segment with you, as a child, what would have been your favorite place to dine? It may not be healthy. You're a kid.
As a kid.
As a kid growing up, what do you remember as your favorite place?
Oh man. It's a chain, but forgive me. I loved going to the old spaghetti factory when I was a kid
Yeah.
downtown.
Oh, yeah.
That's a
that
fun
was,
one.
that was
Absolutely.
fun.
It was
I
kind of
liked
magical going in there, wasn't it,
Sitting
when you
in
were
the
a
train
kid?
car.
Yeah.
and Lewis and Clark
Streetcar.
in Old Town St. Charles was always
Sure.
fun. Getting like a
Which
club
is still
sandwich.
there, which
It's
is
still
great
there.
as well. It's nice
Yeah.
to know that actually people are actually saying their favorite is, restaurants that are still thriving
White
today.
chili is still
Oh,
very
you
good.
got your
Yeah.
favorite.
Yeah.
Aw.
Yeah.
Well, Ryan Mustone, he is the owner of Nutrition Stop with your wife as well. And so please stop in there, take a look at the website, see what they have to offer, and start changing. It's never too late to start changing
It's not.
your way of living to bring some nutrition home, right?
That's right.
And
All
if you have
right.
a nutrition question, I'm sure he can answer it.
Yeah, definitely.
you.
Thank you so much, Ryan. We appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate it.
All right,
Thanks.
we'll be back with another Hot List guest on In Your City Show. Welcome to the show, our Hot List guest here on In Your City Show, JoAnn Houle. She is an artist and her collection is absolutely stunning, which has made the cover of both of our Chesterfield and our Clayton issue. Chesterfield City Lifestyle and the Clayton City Lifestyle. She has been able to be on the cover with two of her latest collections, which recently were just at Saks Fifth Avenue. And so she's with us here on the show today to talk about her butter knife collection. Hence the woman looking into her butter knife as she applies her lipstick. I guess it's kind of this has come out with our October issue. It's kind of fun because it's Halloween time, and there's almost obviously very much a costume effect with your art. I mean, she's wearing apples. I guess, is it a candy apple on a stick or
That's cherries.
cherries?
Yeah.
Okay.
I called her Cherry Berry.
Cherry berry, that's right.
Yeah.
I'm like, it looks
Cherry
like apples to me,
Yeah.
doesn't it? Like a
Cherry berry.
candy
It could
apple.
be, yeah, it totally
It's whatever
could.
you want it to be.
It's a
Because
great
that's
thing
what
about
art
art.
does.
Yep.
And-
Open air interpretation.
yeah, it's the expression that you get from. But yeah, so we were wild by it, and of course on the inside, which we're showing some of the actual artwork itself, because we put your story in all 3 magazines, and I should have probably had my finger on the page before I started looking for it, but there you are. And here's some of your artwork, which we'll have it on the screen here,
Yes,
where you
it
can
will
see
be
a
on
little
the
bit
screen.
better. But it's just incredible. We really enjoyed this article, each one unique. And of course, Barbie is so popular right now. Hey, Barbie. Hi, Barbie. That was fun to be able to put that in there. So you do this collection. How long have you been painting? Are these drawings? How do you do your work?
Those are charcoal and pastel drawings on newsprint paper, like newspaper paper, basically.
Really?
Yeah, so it's a nice medium because it has a toothy texture, so that when I use my charcoals on it, it kind of grabs it and pulls, like you can really feel it. It's a lot different than working on a smooth surface, and it just holds the charcoal so much better, and I can layer it up too, so it works really well. But I've been doing this since I was 10 years old.
10.
Yeah,
Wow.
I decided I wanted to be an artist when I was 10, and then I just never changed my mind. So I did everything art related I could through high school and junior high. I went on to get my BFA from the University of North Dakota. And then I ended up moving here from there in 2006, and I started doing the St. Louis art scene about 2011 and doing shows and things around here, trying to immerse myself in that while running a shop with my husband. So
Yeah, you have, what's the name of your shop?
Shirt Kong.
Shirt Kong. Yeah, that was actually down the street from where I used to live.
Oh, really?
And I've had some shirts done there. So it was such a small world. You just never know how someone's going to like come back,
Resurface in your life,
into your life. And I
Yeah.
used to, with another business I had some shirts made, Got Chocolate with the Chocolate
Oh,
Cafe. And your husband is who I'd met with it and made those shirts for business. And
Yeah.
then here you are, I meet you now, as an artist. So you just like never know
Yeah.
how it's going to pan out with somebody that you from your past come
Oh
back.
yeah, I know. People have come back from my past before, and I'm like, I didn't know we were going to meet up again like this.
Yeah, isn't that something?
Sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes it's a.
Hopefully it's a good thing.
Yeah, this is a great thing. So you have your artwork at Sex. What kind of is that your first time where your art is displayed, some at a place like that?
That large of a scale, that many drawings together as a collection, to have 45 pieces that I created in about 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah, I found out in February that they asked me if I wanted to join and have
It
a
would
show
take me
this
6
year.
months just to start thinking about what I'm going to paint.
Yeah, well, that's why I also chose charcoal and pastel drawings, because I knew I've been doing them for so long. I knew that I could get enough work done to fill the space in the short amount of time, because they told me the show could be as early as July, but as late as December. So I knew I had to be ready by July while they were figuring out their schedule.
As an artist, you know how writers get writer's block. As an artist, do you ever get anything like that, like artist block?
I'm actually in it right now.
Really?
Because this show just came down. I'd been living in it all year since February, really, up until the end of September. And now they did ask me back for 2024. So now I have the chance to come up with a whole new collection. And so my brain is in that space right now, because if this is done, then what's next? What do I want to do next? And I'm always trying to pull like different tools from my toolbox and go in different directions and push myself to do something I haven't done before. So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
I've
you'll
noticed
be
this collection.
inspired.
I'm sorry, Kelly, go ahead.
No, I'm sure that you'll be inspired. I want to find out what inspired this look.
Yeah, I noticed this collection is it's all about women. There's a lot.
Mostly, yeah. I should have included for more men, but I just didn't
So I
come
was going
across
where
it.
Kelly is. So what was the inspiration behind it?
What were you watching somebody put on their lipstick? How does that happen?
I found inspiration from Vogue magazine, Elle magazine, recent copies that were just coming out this year. I purposely got subscriptions just because their fashion and editorial photos are usually really cool, and they're on trend, which was fun. And then I also found interest from Pinterest, and I also have a John Galliano coffee table book, and it goes all the way back to the 90s, so I was pulling from there, and it was all different collections he's done, and so that's where Cherry Berry came from. She was one of his, and it was just really cool, exaggerated, almost kind of 30s, 40s vibe. But then he'd put on these giant eyebrows and fake moles on models, actually, paper ones, and tape them on when they'd walk the runway, so they almost look cartoony. So I was kind
Remember
of
that
drawn
as a
to
kid
that.
with women, I'd see the fake moles on them. I go, why did you do that?
Yeah, but Butter Knife Girl, this collection, when I was stumped in the beginning trying to figure it out, I came across I think it was on Pinterest, I found a photo of a lady that looked vintage putting the lipstick on with her knife. And so I did one version of her, and I was like, oh, she was too scary. She was the blonde one in the show, if you saw it. and she, like, her eyes were missing, like it was too creepy. I couldn't go in that direction, and so I redrew her this way. And once I did this one, she kind of like was the mom to everybody else in the show. Like once I had her done, it clicked. I was like, I could go in a fashion direction with this. It's perfect for Saks anyway. And then I could just pull from any photos I found inspo from anywhere. Based, you know, just what clicks with me particularly and what I thought would make a good drawing. Because usually I can look at a photo and I can tell if it's going to work for me or not. So that process isn't that hard. It's finding the photos. It's just coming across the ones that do click.
Because you can really see that nostalgic, that retro, that those different airs in your drawing with a boldness. I mean, you know, there's almost a sense of, you know, I'm not sure if I want her to, what she might do with that knife. And she's definitely in charge. And don't touch my lipstick. But, you know, there's a sense of real power behind them at the same time, which is really...
I know the hand on the hip, it's like kind of like, look at me. You know?
But a sense of almost a little bit of a clown effect, you know, with the way the makeup, with retro. And of course, I saw apples and cherries is what I was supposed to see. But, you know, you never know what my brain might come up with. And then even Barbie, very retro. Everything has that style. And you are a bit nostalgic yourself with, you know, the way your art. I think creative people have a real sense of flair to their design. I think that's so cool. I mean, you just kind of, what'd you say to the gentleman earlier? It's like, be you. You're like so you.
I'm trying. I feel like I'm still figuring it out. Like,
I think we all do.
I still feel
if you
like
get to see me in the 80s versus today, it's like you can tell I haven't figured it out yet. I'm still trying to go along.
But you still have a sense of flair. You know, that's probably pretty quiet to what you
just
normally...
no spandex. No midriff, no spandex, and no Aquanet in my hair, you know. So.
But I think we're all evolving, and I love that, you know, you're, like you were talking about your haircut, that started back when you first put up your art show, or your, I'm sorry, I shouldn't call it an art show, it's a...
art exhibit.
Art exhibit, that's a better word. Art show sounds like, I don't know,
they
but
both
exhibit,
work.
And that you've been getting your sense of style. It's almost like you're painting yourself as you're moving along.
I think I just feel an immense sense of pressure to try to project who I feel like I am right now and to figure out where I want to go with my art, because it is in the public more right now. Before, I didn't feel as much pressure, but right now I just kind of feel a little more pressure to figure out who I am, because I feel like I'm showing so many more people now my work and myself.
But that can change.
Oh, I'm a good chameleon.
That can change to whatever.
I'm a really good. I could show up tomorrow like blonde with extensions and really long hair, and you probably wouldn't even recognize me.
Which is so fun. I think we all do that. I definitely do.
So let me ask you a question about your art pieces. I always like to ask artists this question. So these are original pieces, right? And you only created one? So when you sell them, do you ever feel like you're giving away your child or something? You know what I mean? That you're giving something away you've created. Is that hard for you sometimes to do?
Sometimes.
And is there certain pieces that you're more connected to than you are than others?
Usually the firstborns. So like she would be a firstborn, for example, because she spawned the rest.
Her for the cover.
She spawned the rest of the show. That's why the show was just named after her, because everybody followed after. I have pieces that I've done. I work in phases. So if you look at the 10-year history on my Instagram page right now, you can see my pockets of style. Like you can see where I've where I've been interested in something, played it out for a while, and then I've stopped and I've moved on to something else. You can see, like Picasso did little like collections, like the blue period or whatever. I have periods of different style that I go through. So I usually keep one from each period. So I'm like, when I'm 80, I could have an art show of just the firstborns if I wanted to, and you could probably go in order of my style. Like it'd be kind of cool to see.
That would be really,
sometimes, or if it's a commission piece and say I end up really liking that commission piece, but it's a commission piece, so it has to leave. Sometimes I'm a little sad about that, because I'm like, I really like the way this turned out.
Right, that would be hard to let go.
But I'm always changing, so I don't also want to hold on to my artwork, because that's why I don't have any tattoos of my own work on myself. I mean, I have like a full sleeve and tattoos all over, but none of it's really mine, because my style changes and I don't want to get stuck with something that I've moved on from. You
mentioned change. With the changing of yourself and your art pieces throughout the years, what part does technology play in art today? I mean, as far as creating the art, do you use any, like, besides just handheld stuff, do you use technology? Is there anything such as iPads or anything that you create art?
I have an iPad,
Do you use that to create art with?
That actually helped me with some of these, because I would develop them. I start with the black charcoal first and build up my outlines and where I want everything, and where I want it darker and stuff with that. And I save the color for last. But before I go to color, sometimes I don't know what I want to do because I can play so many options in my head. But it's better to just see it. So I will take a photograph of the piece and then bring it into my Procreate on my iPad, and I can change out the backgrounds, add any colors,
Wow.
hair, whatever I want. I can play with it unlimited then, and then go back to the actual
That's
drawing.
helpful because if you go, that's not good, you just get delete.
Yeah. Well, with charcoal
Instead of going
too.
through the work.
Yeah, with charcoal too, you can only erase so much before the paper gives way and you'll bust through.
Yeah.
Sure.
So it's only forgiving for so long. So to have the unlimited amount of tries and Procreate on my iPad is really cool, actually. I was going to post some videos of me with some of the drawings from my show that I did do that with on my Instagram, so people could see.
Now, do you keep your artwork up? So did everything go, or do you still have pieces that you would want people to be able to take into their home?
Yeah.
Or so do you have a website then for them to go to be able
Yeah.
to look at your artwork on what's available?
Yeah, if you just go to JoAnnHoule.com,
All right.
that's my website, and it's linked to all my socials, but also there's a shop on there that you can click on, and you can go look around and see what I have currently for sale.
Okay.
So what's
do you
available.
personally create for anything that somebody may want you to draw? Like they have something like, could you turn this into an art piece, or is it strictly what you're inspired to do?
I'm always open to commissions.
Okay.
I've gotten good at knowing if it's something that's going to work out for me or not. So if it's a good fit, and then they kind of tell me what they want. If it's say it's a portrait or a pet portrait, then I can tell, looking at the portrait, once I see their photograph, I can kind of tell how long it's going to take me to talk pricing and stuff. So I'm open to that also.
Well, our bulldog is a female bulldog, so I want you to create a bulldog with a butter knife putting on lipstick.
The butter knife bulldog.
The butter knife bulldog. That'll probably be the top, piece that Saks next year. I'm sure of it. Well, we have appreciated JoAnn Houle, who has the Butter Knife Girl collection, which of course has inspired us to put it on the cover of the magazine and to write a feature on you. So if people want to get a hold of you, obviously they can go to your website for
Yes.
that, and then your next event then will be next year at Saks, but they can get a hold of you now for your work that you have.
Yeah, there could be other events coming up before that too.
And
so
you'll put those on your schedule
I
and
always
on
put
your
it on my
website.
website. Mhm.
Perfect. Well, thank you for being our Hot List guest
Thank you
today.
for having me.
All right. JoAnn Houle, she is a fabulous artist, as you can see from her work. Take a look at her website and see if there's something there that inspires you. Thank you.
Thanks.
It's been a great In Your City show. We've had some really fabulous Hot List guests. That's something we always look forward to, because that's what we're about, is, shining a light on those people, places, and things, hidden treasures that are in our cities for people to engage and enjoy. Sometimes we don't even realize what's out there until it's brought to our attention, and that's something we really enjoy doing.
And it's when we get people in here and we start to really get to engage with them and talk to them, like Ryan, to find out how knowledgeable they are about certain things that now we know someone that we can go to and have confidence that they're going to lead us in the right
I
direction.
feel like we need an hour per person. Our producer's like winding us up, and it's like, I got another question.
I
Gordon's
do.
not done.
I know. I had some questions today.
Well, I have a question, because we asked our guests, we said, ask them, is there a favorite? Because of course, in line with our food issue of city lifestyle, what is a favorite dining experience or restaurant that you remember as a kid that is just so memorable to you?
Noah's Ark. Noah's Ark was always that one thing. It was like you went on, like it's something that you would see if you went on vacation, like if the Ozarks, Branson, or something like that. And it was just so big. It was this big giant ark. And of course, I grew up, my dad and mom maybe go to
biblical
church all the
background
time.
of it, right?
So it was kind of cool. I felt like I was actually in Noah's Ark. But just as you walk up and you got the water outside and the hippos spouting water and the alligators and the big giraffes, and when
Did you
walk
think there
in-
was going to be two of every animal when you went inside?
You know what? I don't know, but that's a good question. But and how did he fit them all in here?
Right.
And then you go inside and you see all the stuffed lions and all the really cool animals, and then the plastic little giraffe that they always put on your glass. I always just that you got to take home. I just thought it was the coolest thing ever. You know,
Weren't they known for their soup or some
clam chowder.
Clam chowder. Okay.
Clam chowder, and come to find out, if I remember right, their clam chowder was nothing more than Campbell's soup, but baked potato soup, and Campbell's soup clam chowder mixed together, or something
But everything's
like that.
always better when someone else
You
is
don't
making
even know
it, right?
about it. Yeah. And you know what's really crazy? It's kind of full circle as far as Noah's Ark for us, because now we live in Newtown, and some of the animals that were at the Noah's Ark restaurant
the
are
giraffe.
actually in Newtown.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool. It's
Really
kind of full
cool.
circle.
So mine would be, I guess I have kind of two memories. Growing up, we'd go to horse shows, and so we'd always go someplace afterwards, and something that would be open late at night was Shoney's, and we'd get those. I always remember ordering a brownie fudge sundae. It wasn't like the food or anything. It was just like the experience. I think we were all together, and then we'd always get this dessert afterwards. And then I loved Shakey's Pizza. Remember that they had real people entertaining with banjos and playing music
Striped
within
shirts.
the. Yeah, did you ever get to go
They
there?
had a player piano.
Yeah. So, I mean, they would entertain, while you were there. It was just very festive. You remember doing that. But there is another. Do you remember the Magic Pan at the Frontenac Mall?
No, I heard about it, but I've never been there.
That was always a memorable lunch with my grandma, and it was all crepes. And once again, going back to the Sunday, how do you say it? They had a crepe fudge sundae, and so I would always get that. They had like a manicotti crepe, which was delicious. But those are three restaurants that have memorable experiences for me that are no longer here, sadly.
I have another one that I know you're going to agree with me as far as kids, and I don't even know if there's any around anymore, but I used to love it when my dad would say, "We're going to Ponderosa."
Oh my gosh, yes! Go through the
you
line.
stand in the line, but then you could go back 500 times for ice cream pudding and all that stuff. Oh yeah, you just keep going back.
I didn't know you could get more than one.
After
I
your
do remember getting the pudding.
Yeah, you don't get more than one steak, but you could get all the condiments and all the
Oh, no
fun
wonder
stuff.
you could get more than one dessert.
Yeah, which is great. So
Those are good memories, yes, definitely. Well, we appreciate you being part of the show. And of course, if you want to be one of our next Hot List guests, or if you're interested in being in one of our magazines, whether it be advertising to help elevate your brand of your business, or maybe you have a great story that you want to share with us, of course, we have Chesterfield, St. Charles County, and Clayton City Lifestyle magazines. And then, of course, here we have the In Your City Show. You can go to inyourcityshow.com and actually take a look at the magazines, as well as take a look at any of the shows that we have had. And if you'd like to be a part of it, you can contact us right there for more information.
all right.
All right, well, we appreciate you being part of the
Thank
show, and we look forward to our next In Your City Show. And until then, peace.